I began as a therapist. And I studied and I worked as a therapist. And then I was working on a patient or a client. And she said that she's a talent agent and that Dolce & Gabbana needs a sexy older woman in a bathing suit for Vogue magazine. So she said, just go, Hattie, go. So, she's my patient and she interrupts her session to do something for me. And I go and they choose me to be this sexy older woman in a bathing suit. It ends up in Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Vanity Fair, W. And from then on, from the media picked up on that and they called me a cougar. So my therapy work went from focusing on aging, which was my focus, to sexuality. And then aging and sexuality, because they often go together. So from then, the media from all different countries saw me and they said, oh, she's great. She'll be fun. We'll get a lot of people interested in what Hattie has to say. And so that's what happened. And my last presentation was in Australia and it went viral and it got over 7.2 million hits. And what I do is talk about sex. No filter talk about sex, straight out. And that people have to be able to just acknowledge sex. Women have to say, I love sex as much as a man, admit it. And so I open the freedom of acknowledging, appreciating, enjoying, benefiting from sexuality, fucking. It could be other things, but it's often fucking.
Right. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about why us being connected to our sexuality is so important.
I don't know if people will talk about sexuality in the way that I do, but I don't think there's any life force that's more powerful and more providing for sustenance than making love, having sex. I just think it's so mixed up with so many other issues that it becomes a problem rather than a paradise.
We're from Live Jasmine, which is a campsite. And I've interviewed many members and many models. And one thing that seems to consistently come up with members is these are generally men who maybe have recently gone through a bad divorce, or a lot of them have disabilities that prevent them from having a normal, intimate, or social life. And so they're seeking that intimacy through Live Jasmine. And I'm curious what your thoughts are around camming and getting intimacy in that way.
I think that nakedness, fucking, watching, uh, uh, masturbating along with, for me, those are healthy things to do. I'm very powerful sexual force, always have been, hopefully always will be. And I expect and know that guys jerk off to me. In fact, I'm going to start an OnlyFans page so that I can get paid for all the different seductive things that I'm going to be doing.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think seduction is a wonderful. Um, Let me think of what noun I can come. A wonderful um, sharing of excitement, and that people should be proud of their capacity to seduce and be seduced. I'm pro the power of a woman and very critical of when a woman is not appreciated. But in the area of sex, I think I would like a woman to feel so empowered, not by what society says about sex or even how society treats her, but how she owns her own sexuality, and that it all generates from there. So I get my female power not from society. If I depended on society, I'd really be a dish rag.
mm.
Society's very negative to an 86-year-old fucker. Like, wow. What's the matter with you? Don't you like to bake? What's wrong with knitting?
Well, I mean, I have to say it. You look vibrant and full of life. So I think that whatever you are doing, it is working for you. That is for sure.
Well, I think that women have to assess what effect they have on men, on society, on babies, on animals. What effect are you having in the world? If, like me, you find that you're arousing sexuality, then claim it. If I were doing something else, I'd claim that too. Find out what your real strength is. Don't criticize it. Don't need it to be otherwise. Don't have a point of view that's putting yourself down. The capacity to turn a guy on, I found to be like a wonderful talent. It's a internet age. So getting sex or turned on consistently and guiltlessly from the internet makes total sense. We're in an internet age. Otherwise, before, we would look at what you call dirty magazines. You just look at them so you get turned on. I mean, when the guy is contributing sperm, let's say, sperm donor, so they give him a Playboy magazine so he can jerk off. It doesn't matter what his level of education is or how he feels about whether or not this woman in Playboy is being exploited or if her tits are plastic or whatever. The dick doesn't care about any of that. It gets hard. They do their rhythmic da 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 da.
Do you see this industry as a way for women to maybe take back some of their and own, as you said earlier, some of their sexual power?
Yeah, of course. Of course, pussy power. The orgasms, to me, the orgasms tune up the planet. Orgasms are a powerful life vibratory balancing aspect. The orgasm is like playing a cello or a violin. That. And I think part of why people are so disturbed is that now it's not natural anymore. It doesn't come from a cello or a violin. It comes from a machine going that. Let me see, what do you call that? Electronic music. No, it
Oh.
drains your sexuality. In fact, I have a very negative reaction to that. Like if I'm in a cab and I suddenly hear that tick, 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 I go fucking bananas. I hate that because I know what the real vibrator. And in fact, when I go to Carnegie Hall or something and I listen to a violin concerto, I get an orgasm. So it's that incredible, powerful biophysio. Let me see. It's more than an organizer. It's a biophysio connection that tunes the woman. It tunes you. Also, the man, when you're fucking, it's rhythmic. It's all rhythm, 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 rhythm. You can't get an orgasm without the rhythm. Now you could do all sorts of a vibrator, rhythm, the rhythm of life.
Why are we as a society and a culture still so uncomfortable with sexuality?
They don't want to own their bodies. They don't want to own their lips. They have not made peace with pissing and digestion. It ends up with sickness. It doesn't end up with something you own and enjoy. You know, own your biology, for God's sake. I think people hate their biology. So they go into style or they go into plastic surgery or something. That sex is biology. and biology is sexual. Somewhere along the line, the parents have to give the child permission, more than permission, proud to play with yourself. That's the first toy, man. It's a good toy. It's better than the Energizer.
So you feel like we as a society we haven't really done the work in knowing ourselves and our bodies.
We hate our biology. We hate our humanness.
Okay.
We do not really tap in to now we'll tap into the glory of a child, of an infant. Kiss him, they got vomit and shit. Kiss him, kiss him. There's something about owning the power of your gender that people don't want to do it. They don't want to own their bodies. They want to like get my body out of the way, instead of it being taught as a pleasure zone. Now listen, in Florida they're having trouble with any literature having to do with being Black or anything like that. What kind of literature would society pounce on, lest people start talking about, you wake up in the morning and slide those arms, slide those hands across those nice nipples, now slide them down, it's kind of wet down there, you don't hear that. You don't hear that. That's how I feel, like that's my body, that's my playground.
It's really interesting. I feel like the people who are the most sexual, so to speak, tend to be the most full of life and present with life. And I see that in you as well. And I see it in a lot of the models on Live Jasmine. They're so present with life and joyful. And I think it's because of that ability to, embrace the humanness.
There aren't a lot of people who love their bodies. And you got to love it, not just the way it looks, but you got to go through the biology and own it. Because biology is very important.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. I mean, wow, this has been such an interesting and great conversation. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I see why people just love you, and you have such a great personality, and you are beautiful, you shine. I can feel your vibrant energy. Absolutely. What would be some tips for people who want to have a healthier, intimate, and sexual life?
It's like using sex for pleasure and not allowing any problem or challenge in life to contaminate the gift of sex.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I see how vibrant you are, and the lighting is good, and your smile is beautiful, and your hair, the color is strong, and beautiful smile. So I wish that I were really present on camera, but I think we had a good interview.
Yeah, we definitely did. Absolutely.